Hey guys, welcome to Farm Term Chic. I'm Emily. Today's episode is all about spring DIYs, and I am so excited to share these DIYs with you because they are absolutely beautiful and I'm so excited with how they turned out. This is also part of a spring collaboration, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in the video. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing and becoming my crafting BFF. If you do like any of today's projects, remember to hit that thumbs up, but let's get right into the DIYs. I've seen a lot of fun DIYs with old springs, and I found this at Vintage Market Days, and I picked it up thinking I would save it for springtime. It's very rusted, as you can see, so just be very careful if you're using any type of rusted metal that you don't cut yourself or anything. Now, I had a few people in my last video, I used Mod Podge to help form a nest out of Spanish moss, and I had a few people say try hairspray and see if that works better. So that's what I'm doing. I just have some aerosol hairspray here. I don't know that it necessarily worked a whole lot better. It could have just been the type of hairspray that I had. But either way, I felt like worked okay. So I'm still kind of on a mission, finding the best way to make a little nest, but I just kind of got it wet, whether you use Mod Podge, somebody suggested spraying Mod Podge or watering it down and putting it in a spray bottle. So I think maybe I'll try that next. But I just kind of formed it into the shape that I wanted, and I pushed it down in the center to make a little spot for some little eggs to go. You can see I'm using my heat tool here to kind of dry it so that way I could get it formed like just a cute little nest. And this is just Spanish moss. I buy mine in a big bag at Hobby Lobby because I feel like you get more and it's a little bit better quality than Dollar Trees, but they also sell it at Dollar Tree. So I'm just taking my spring here and forming that nest onto the top, and I use a little bit of hot glue to go around to make sure that it's set in there so it's just not going to fall off or anything like that. And it's very just be very careful because that hot glue can seep through that Spanish moss really quick. But once you do that, it kind of takes shape and it's starting to look super cute. I really love this, and I do take my scissors and go around the edge, kind of trim it up a little bit after I form it. That way it can, sometimes they can get a little out of control. You can see here I'm just trimming that there. So it's up to you, kind of how rustic you want it to look, or if you kind of want it to look a little bit, I didn't really want it uniform, but you know, I wanted it at least to kind of not be all over the place. So now I'm just taking 3 little eggs that I have from just a basket or a little container that I bought of these, and just little speckled eggs, and I glue them together so that way they're not going to fall out anywhere. I mean, it is a spring, so if there's like movement, it might kind of vibrate or bounce a little bit, so I just don't want the eggs to come out of there. And then I thought it would be really cute to take a little bit of greenery and just kind of tuck it in. Now I started using hot glue for this, but then I moved on to just some Elmer's craft glue, just to kind of glue in a little piece and twist it around the Spanish moss. That way it just brings a little bit of the greenery. It kind of has a little bit more of a fresh feel to it. This is the glue that I used right here. And it works really well. So that's just what I did to glue those in. Now, I forgot to record this part, so I'm just showing you the best I can of what I did. So I have this little aging kit here. I got it at JoAnns. I've seen them sell it at Hobby Lobby as well, or you could even just use antiquing wax. But it's this little like stamper thing with like velvet almost or something on it that you can kind of wipe this ink on pieces of paper or cardstock to age it. And so I'm just going around what I did. This is just like cardstock here, and you can see I'm bending it on all different ways. And what happens when you do this is it will create creases in your paper. So when you take your little dabber there and you rub it on, those creases will pop. And there's a couple different colors of ink here to use. And then I also will take it and spray it with some water. And the type of ink that it is, it will allow like, I want to say age spots, but I mean like those, like it looks like it's just really old. I'll show you up close here in just a second. I'm just drying this all off. I did this exact same process on a tag that I'm going to hang from this spring. So I just wanted to walk you through how I did that. But can you see all those little water spots on there? It just looks really aged. And then, so this is my tag. And what I did is this is a Dollar Tree rub-on transfer. I got this last year at springtime. I'm hoping I find more because I only found one last year, but I just placed it underneath this transfer and then just used a craft stick to rub it off onto the cardstock there. And you can see how absolutely darling. I love the vintage aged look of this, both sides of it. I think this is going to be darling tied onto our cute little spring. Now, when I fray my burlap fabric, I'm left with kind of these little strands of the burlap. And so I'm just using a bunch of those. I thought that would be really cute tied on here. So I just tied it around my tag, and then I'm just tying it at the top of this cute little spring, just below the birdhouse there, so this tag can kind of hang there. I felt like it really needed something else. I mean, you could leave it just plain with the spring and the bird's nest. I've also seen some really cute flower arrangements on the top of springs like this. I'm curious if you've seen anything with these vintage springs like this. I think they're so fun, and you can actually find them quite easily at the antique store. Like I said, I found mine at Vintage Market Days. Look at how absolutely darling this looks. I am so excited for this, and I mean, I know it's quite literally spring, a spring for spring. I just think it turned out beautiful, and I love the feel, and honestly, I love the tag just as much as I love the bird's nest on the spring. Today's video is part of a spring collaboration. I am so excited to be back at doing this collaboration again, and it's one of my most favorites. This is hosted by Liana DIY, and this month our guest host is Country Charm Tracy and Patty J. Good. You guys are going to love their channels. I'll link them each down in my description box. But most important, there is going to be a playlist chock full of fun, beautiful spring decor for you. It's going to be listed down in my description box, but I will pin it in my comments so it is very easy to find. And there's going to be so much inspiration here, so definitely click that link and get all of this fun spring decor ideas, and just sit back and relax and be entertained. Let's get right back into the DIYs. I've been loving doing DIYs with these cute little seed pots here. You can get these anywhere that you get garden supplies. I've seen them most recently at Walmart. I grabbed these at Lowe's when I was there, but these have a beautiful texture. Some of them don't maybe have as much texture as this, but it's totally fine. All you need is just something that is of this little like peat pot consistency here, almost like a cardboard. But I'm just going to give a very light coat of paint here. You can do it as messy as you want. You don't want full coverage. I'm just trying to have a contrast to the brown color as well as show that texture a little bit, so that way it'll be fun to work with. We're going to do some Easter decoupage. So I have all of these different types of Easter napkins. I went to Home Goods one day and they had so many fun Easter napkins. I couldn't decide. I just kept picking one up after another, being like, I want this one, I want this one. And so I have to do some projects using all of them now because I have to justify why I bought so many napkins. But these turn out so cute, and I really can see me doing so many more projects with this. So I'm just using a little bit of water on a paintbrush to go around the design to get that cut out, so that way we can put it on our pot. I use some Mod Podge, and I put a little bit of that on my pot, and then I'm just going to stick down this cute little design of these little chicks here. Once I get it placed where I want it, I will go over the top again with some Mod Podge, and you can kind of see how the edge is hanging over the bottom of the pot there. That's not a problem. I'll just put Mod Podge over that and it will just be set in place. You can also put a little bit of water again on that edge if it's going up over the top or the bottom, and kind of tear it off and give it a rough little edge, but when it's folded over the bottom, it looks just as cute. The fun part of this is you don't have to stick to like one particular napkin style. You can jump around from different napkins that you have that have little pieces that go together. I think I use like 3 or 4 different types of napkins on this. And the bigger the pot, the more designs that you would be able to use on your pot. So these are quite small, so it actually made it a little more manageable. That's why I decided to make 4 of them, because I wanted, once I got started, I wanted different feels for all the different ones. So you can see this one, I love this cute little flower here. So I just put that little bit of water around the flower, and then I just gently, one thing I did forget to mention, I do show it, but I did forget to mention that you want to make sure napkins are like a 2-ply napkin. So you want to make sure that you tear them apart. You peel back that back white layer, whatever color it is, there's going to be a backing on there. And so you're only working with that top layer. It's going to make life so much easier. Otherwise, what happens is it just turns into a mess because you're using that other layer and it will come unstuck, and then you get it stuck to your design. And anyway, so just remember to peel that second layer back. It really only takes like one time of making that mistake before you remember every time to peel it back. So anyhow, there's so many fun little designs here. They weren't all necessarily Easter. They were all kind of more like had a spring type of theme to them. I thought this little bumblebee one with this little vintage writing on here was super cute. And you just kind of lay it over. I mean, if you want to tell a story in your mind, like I love to come up with stories for my crafts. You guys know that that's something that I love to do. And so each little pot, I kind of had like a little theme going, or I would, think like, oh, well, this is going to have this on it. I don't know. I just was kind of going with it. And I mean, I just keep adding to it. And honestly, you can be as simplistic as you want, or you can add as much as you want. But this particular napkin had this cute little stripe on here, this little flower here. So I just put a little bit of water all along the napkin there, and I just carefully tear that. And I'm going to put a little border around the top of my pot. I thought this would look so cute and set it off. So once I tear that off, I just kind of lay that around the top of the pot, and it kind of adds that little detail. I mean, these were so much fun, and you can use your imagination. I know Dollar Tree has some beautiful napkins that you could get, and this is something that you could do for any season. It doesn't necessarily have to be for spring or Easter or anything. But I just loved these. When I saw these napkins, I was like, yes, I want these. And so I'm just showing you here really quick, just a couple of the others, some of the, I won't go into detail on each of these other pots that I do, but I'll just show you a couple of little things here. Now, the fun thing is you can decorate these however you want as far as putting things in them. If you want to put just like a little cute potted plant in there, just an artificial one, that's perfect. You want to actually use them to grow like your seeds from, how darling would that be? So many cute little things that you could do. I love this little bunny on this one. Isn't that so precious? I thought it was so cute. But there's so many different things that you can do with these. I'll show you what I ended up putting it in them in the final reveal here. But I mean, you're limited only to what your imagination can think of. Now on this one, the bunny was too big for the pot, but I didn't let that stop me. I just bent its ears over and went with it. You can still tell that it's a bunny. I still thought it was really cute. And then I just Mod Podge it down and go with it. I thought it was, I don't know, I loved this little bunny. I'm really happy with how these all came out. As you can see, I put a little nest in one of them, a little floral arrangement in one of them. I got some raffia and made like another little nest with an egg in that one. And then those little carrots I thought were absolutely darling in that Peter Rabbit one. I thought that was just so cute. What would you put in your pots if you made them? Can you think of something different that you would do? I personally love how these turned out, and I'm so excited to use them. Are you guys on Instagram? If you are, I would love if you would come and find me. I am Farm Charm Chic over there. I'll leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. But come and see what I'm working on. I post there quite a bit. I like to show you things that I'm working on or when I have videos ready. It's just another place to stay in touch. So if you do come find me, remember to send me a DM and say hi, because I do love meeting new friends. I am so excited to show you this project. I absolutely love the final result. Now, a few weeks back, I showed you my Dollar Tree haul, and I got this cute little picket fence sign from Dollar Tree. So, and I had so many of you be like, oh, I've had those, I've seen those, or I'm excited to see what you do. So I hope that this is something that you maybe haven't seen before, and it turns out super cute. So hopefully you can give this a try. Now, on this particular sign, these things come off so easy. Both signs that I have tried to remove things from, they pop right off. They don't ruin the sign. So hopefully that's how everybody finds their sign. So I just get everything removed from the sign, and then I just cover it in white chalk paint. You could do whatever color that you would like. And then I'm going to go put with a Sharpie marker, just put the slats back on this fence by just using a ruler and drawing some straight lines there. And then I'm going to go over them with some white paint to dull them down a little bit, because I don't want the huge contrast of the black with the I want it to look aged and kind of more natural, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I know I say if that makes sense a lot, but I guess in my mind I just want to make sure that I'm saying it so you can understand it. So I apologize for that. Anyway, now I'm just taking some antiquing wax on a chip brush, and I wiped a little bit of it off on my baby wipe there, and then I'm just slowly going back and forth here on each of the slats to kind of give it a wood feel. And then I'll kind of go back, and you want to make sure not to go over an area that you've already done, because that will smear the wax and it won't give you the really good streak lines there. Now, these boxes I'm sure you've seen at Dollar Tree. I'm removing the centers out of them, and we're just going to use the bases of these little drawers. So I'm just using some wood glue and some hot glue to get these glued together. And I had somebody ask me if that wouldn't compromise the wood glue by using hot glue, and it does not at all. It's actually pretty common practice if you don't have like clamps that size or something, or in a pinch, to use hot glue to clamp them closed, that instant hold to keep the wood glue there and in place. Now, I do have clamps, so I am just going to clamp this together, and I wasn't intending on doing this, but I really don't want there to be a space between those little boxes. I want them to look as cohesive as possible. Now I'm taking some craft sticks. You could do painter sticks. You could do the craft popsicle sticks, whatever. These are just some sticks that I got on Amazon. I'll see if I can link them below for you. And they don't have like the curved edge like the painter stick. That's why I like them. And I thought it would really elevate this to have it look like a little planter box if I put this edge on it. So I just cut it to size, just by eyeballing, you know, kind of where I measured it, cutting it with my scissors, and then I'm just using the wood glue and the hot glue. You do want to make sure, you can see there that I don't put the hot glue over the wood glue. You don't want those two to mix. You want the wood glue to actually only be touching the wood. And then I just cover this in white paint. I went back and forth if I wanted to do like just stain it brown, which would be really cute too, but I am really happy with how it looks all together at the end. I like the really light color to it. So then this is just one of these cute little signs that they do at Dollar Tree all year long. This is one of like the hollow ones, if you can see what I'm talking about here, that's not like the solid wood, and that's what we want. And so I just removed that little hanger because I want this to be like a little tray shelf on here. So I'm just going to measure this. You can see it's way too big for how it is, so I need to cut it down. So I'm just kind of measuring it there and seeing exactly how I want it. And you can kind of see, if you could, the cameras are really hard to pick up, that I drew a little line right there where I'm going to cut this. Now I pull out my miter box and I cut this down with my miter box. So you can do that however you would like. You could also build, like with just using some paint sticks, your own little tray to go there. I just thought it would be, I was going to try to use the sign, and it actually works out really well. Now I need this to be closed on the end, so the piece that I cut off, I am just going to tear that little end piece off. It snaps right off, and just using some super glue of some sort, I'm just going to glue that back onto the end so it makes a shorter sign. Now by all means, if you can find a shorter sign at Dollar Tree that works, that's already this size, definitely use that. So this paper just peels off of here, and then if you spray it with some water and let it sit for a couple of minutes, you can scrape all of that glue and all of the residue and the excess paper off. So I just get that all clear. You don't really want to paint over it because it will start to peel up the paper. It'll absorb the paint and it won't look very nice. So I do recommend taking all of that paper off. Now I paint that other tray white, and then I go back in and distress everything, because you guys know that I love to distress things. So completely optional here how you decide to do this. I didn't sand any of it. I only used just antiquing wax on my chip brush, and I just went over all of the edges, and I thought that little lip going around the edge there gave it a really good dimension. It added a lot with the to add a little more distressing to it. Now I'm going to glue this onto our little fence here using just some super glue. So I don't use any hot glue because I didn't want it to push out at all. I wanted it to be as flush as it could. And sometimes with hot glue, it will dry a little bit before you push it, and it will not let it sit flush to the thing. So that's why I did that. And I didn't have any clamps that would really clamp that really good. So now I'm just distressing this other little tray here just the same way, just antiquing wax on a little chip brush and going around getting the coverage that I want. And then on the back side of it, I also use some super glue and then place that, and I could kind of get the corners, but there was a little bowing in the middle, so I just held it with my fingers for about 60 seconds for it to dry. You guys, look at how cute this little fence, like potting bench. I don't even know what you want to call it, but I think it's so cute. So now I'm just going to accessorize it. And you guys, this is something that you can use all year long and accessorize with all sorts of different seasons. I'm just putting a little beaded garland, kind of fits right over those little pegs on that, the pickets on that little fence there. And the little tray lets you just stick some things in. Kind of think of like an alternative. You guys know I love to do like different types of tiered trays, and I feel like this really kind of fits that bill. And you can just see that things just sit right in there. So here's a little bonus DIY. I wanted something else on my shelf there, but I couldn't find anything in my stash that really worked. So I'm just taking, this is a wooden nameplate card for like a table setting. And on one side, it's a chalkboard. It's just the plain wood on the other side. And it came from Hobby Lobby in a pack of like 10. It was like $2 or $3. So keep an eye open for those because I love this shape. And this is just a Dollar Tree rub-on transfer that I am using. I thought this was so cute. If you guys follow me on Instagram and you see this transfer at your Dollar Tree, message me and let me know. I would love to find some more of them. Now, as I'm peeling this back, if there's an area that the design is not fully transferred, I just lay it back down, and then I just go over it with my little craft stick there to make sure that it's fully transferred. Where the antiquing wax does make it take a little bit of extra time because that wax, it doesn't want to stick to the best. You guys, this is one of those items that I kind of visualized it. I had the little idea, and as I was putting it together, I'm like, this could be a total fail. But oh my gosh, like I am so excited with the outcome of this. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's going to be so fun to decorate for all different seasons. It's a piece that can stay out all year long in my home, and it was constructed with all Dollar Tree items. Like, that just blows me away. Is this something that you guys would make? If you did, would you leave it up year round? I would love to know your thoughts on this piece. I hope that this video has inspired you to go make some spring DIYs or given you some ideas of different decor things. I absolutely had so much fun coming up with all of these DIYs this week, and I think they all turned out so great. I don't think I could pick a favorite this week, honestly. I mean, I do really love my picket fence thing there, but these other ones are just so cute and perfect for springtime. Remember that down in my description box and pinned in my comments is going to be a link to the playlist. Definitely go check that out so you can get all of this other wonderful spring inspiration and just be entertained and take in all of the beautiful DIYs that all of these wonderful creators have made for you. Thank you so much to Liana DIY for putting this collaboration together every month. She is so fantastic. Definitely say hi to her when you visit her channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Happy crafting! If you liked the video that you just saw and you want to keep crafting together, here's another video that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.